Hey, how's it going, everybody? How's it going, everybody? Good evening. My name's Anthony. This is going to be my first video going live. Going to be discussing the movie Mountainhead. It's on Max right now. I just finished it not too long ago. It's a pretty good movie. It's got a guy from 40-Year-Old Virgin in it, Steve Carell. Then I think it's Jason Schwartzman, I think is his name. There's a couple other people in there. It's a pretty cool movie. It's about billionaires, and they basically go out on a retreat to like Utah, to this secluded mountain. They got crazy amounts of money. They could just buy any land that they choose where it's nobody has access to, and they could just live there and be undisturbed. But the premise is that one of the billionaires, the richest guy in the group, I think his name's Ven or Venus. He owns a app. He owns an app that does AI. It's called Tram, and the AI app is like super like futuristic. I guess it's creating all of this AI generated videos. It's causing a lot of instability throughout the globe, and it's causing riots and upheavals and revolutions and stuff like that. It's causing misinformation and people to go at it. It's really interesting and good because how it translates to today. Today everything's going pretty crazy. There's a lot of misinformation. AI is just starting out. People are using it. There's a lot of stuff going on. They're actually trying to ban regulations on AI for the next 10 years. I think that's actually included in the big beautiful budget bill. I think they're trying to ban states from regulating AI for 10 years, which is, I don't think, too good of an idea. Actually, I think it's a horrible idea. Obviously, it's put in place by the tech bros, the Silicon Valley bros. It makes me go. I can go on a tangent because shoot, I believe President Trump, when he was inaugurated, he had all these billionaires around him. A lot of them tech. Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg. He had Elon Musk, who owns Twitter. Um, who I don't know who owns like Google and YouTube. I think that might be not Mark Zuckerberg, well, one of them, but there's a lot of whole stuff like JD Vance. I read somewhere that JD Vance was basically put into position by a billionaire by the name of Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is like another billionaire. These guys are just billionaires, money out the wazoo. They got money to blah so they have no concern in the world. They could actually just put people up into positions. So I think they backed JD Vance and got him a Senate seat, and the very next year they got in with Trump, and they put him to where he's at now. Now he is the vice president of the United States of America. This guy JD Vance, who seems like a demon to me. A lot of them look like demons. That's just my opinion. I'm a human being, but yeah, they seem like demons, and I'm gonna be open, and I'm gonna say what I want and how I feel. I'm not gonna hold back. Just like Mark Andreessen and man, there's a lot of them. Elon Musk. These guys want like I think some of them have like manifestos or little items where they talk about how they envision a future where like the world is controlled by CEO or corporation states. They actually want to dissolve government. So I don't know how true it is. I got to see the actual link or article that I was looking at, but it's pretty crazy. They basically say that they can't get people to vote for that type of stuff, obviously. So their goal was to use what I'm using right now, social media and technology, to basically sway the people or maybe even distract the people so that they can basically take over. So it's basically like a silent coup. And basically all the stuff that you've heard before in the past about how it's a spiritual warfare, it's a mental warfare, psychological warfare. We're actually living in that today, I believe. Yeah, so these billionaires go to this retreat in Colorado or Utah, everything's going crazy. They're looking at their phones and everything's going wild. And they basically wanted to go on a retreat where it was just those billionaire bros, like the PayPal mafias or the tech bros, the Silicon Valley bros. They just went over there and they had a good time. And so they're over there just chilling, and things are going crazy. Everybody has their own ulterior motives. So a guy named Randall, who is the older guy of the group, he's diagnosed with like cancer. So he's basically, they're telling him he's sick and he's gonna die, and he's like, "You're ignorant." He's telling the doctors, you are an imbecile. You're not smart." He just doesn't want to accept the fact that he's dying because he's the richest man in the world and probably had everything handed to him, and he can't figure out why it's going to get taken away from him. Hopefully that's how a lot of them are feeling. Even the owners of this app I'm using now too. That's actually something that in my future videos and as I progress, I want to talk about more. Like, definitely, yeah, I believe we should live in a what is that called? A social democracy. I think YouTube should be like stripped from its owners. I think that it should be um, what do you call that? Um, be basically be like a utility. It should become a public utility, and it should be algorithm should not be set to where it goes against you, to where it shouldn't be predatory tactics to where they want to keep you all your attention here at all times. They should take away a lot of the ad stuff, a lot of stuff. I'm not an expert, but I'm sure that they can make it a lot better for the user. um, I know that these apps are outdated. We're all using the same social media apps that have we have been using for decades, and the reason why I believe is because they've all been monopolized and condensed, and they just all bought the competition as they went. YouTube blew up, and that's basically all we've had. We have TikTok now, Instagram still the same thing, Facebook still the same thing from 10 years ago. I remember to 15 years ago. I remember first getting on it in like 2011 or something, or 10 or 11. So yeah, these are all outdated apps, but they basically have a chokehold on it because they are monopolized. So we have no other options. But yeah, my views are very, very I'll let you guys pick your term for it. I don't want to come out and say it yet. I don't want to get nobody scared out there. But as you can probably tell and hear, I am a human being, and I'm not a demon running amok, as Bill Hicks would say. I'm here to tell you that this is just a ride, and we could make this ride better. We could take care of each other. We could make each other better and help each other and heal. So yeah, they're there. The one guy's sick; he has cancer. The other guy just released his latest AI model that's basically causing global panic and riots and upheaval. Another one is like not a billionaire. He's only worth like 500 million, and he hasn't become a billionaire, but he's friends with all of these billionaires. So he's kind of like the cuck, the loser of the group because he's broke. And then there's this other guy who has another AI model, which is basically more advanced than the AI model that's causing all the chaos. He has a better AI model that can fact check and decipher the fake AI from real AI like really fast. So basically, while they're there, that dude's AI, that stock basically skyrockets, and his net worth increases. It like doubles overnight. So he becomes richer than um, Randall, who's the old guy who's sick. He becomes richer than him overnight, and it's a big deal. These rich guys have to have a measuring contest, and it's all about who has more. As Americans, that's how I feel when we're getting stuff. My family is like, yeah, let me get look at this, and I'm like, when is it ever enough? Because we're consumers basically. We live in a world of consumerism. Basically, just purchase, purchase, purchase. Not knowing that everything we need is within ourselves, within our families, within our communities, within communication and talking. And that's my goal with this too, to kind of get people to acknowledge that, put a mirror up to people's faces, to myself, to my own, because I believe everybody is connected and we're all the same. Even the people who do evil, we're all capable of evil things. I'm not perfect. I've done terrible things. But I'm trying to change, and I'm currently trying to get better. And I actually want the better for everybody. Um, but not in the way that like the status quo or the most powerful or richest people in the world want it. They want to sacrifice people for innovation. Supposedly, that's not even the case, in my opinion. They're just trying to make their pockets deeper and basically doing a cash grab, just like with this budget bill. They're trying to extend tax cuts from Trump's term, the 2017 tax cuts for the richest people in America. They're trying to make those permanent. And at the same time, they're trying to basically kick like over 10 million people off of Medicaid. The poorest people in America, they're trying to penalize. And there's so many different top tangents that I could go off of, but I'll try to keep it slow so I don't have put too much stuff out there for you guys. I don't want to overload you guys. That's kind of how I am, though. I actually talk like this when I talk to people too. So I'm like talking at a mile a minute. Everything that I learn, I kind of soak it in, and I try to spread it. I try to spread that information. So yeah, basically the one guy with the good AI model, he actually has a cool head on his shoulders. He realizes the other guy who's basically causing chaos, he's still a billionaire prick. Like there's nothing good about him. Um, but he kind of has a little bit of decency to him because he's like making fun of the other guy for causing all this chaos and murder and mayhem. And he's kind of somewhat of a moral compass. Not really, though. Like I said, he doesn't really. Um, I mean, yeah, he doesn't really redeem himself. Not so. Um, After, so what comes next? After he becomes rich, he becomes the second richest person in the group. So it's the dudes with the two AI models who are the top richest people in that group. Then it's the older guy Randall, and then it's the guy who's worth 500 million. And so the guy with the good model, with the second richest guy, I forget his name. He comes to Randall, and he tells him that he basically doesn't trust Ven. He doesn't trust him and his AI model. He thinks that it's going to collapse. He doesn't believe in it. He doesn't think it's going to work. He thinks it's going to cause too much problems, or it's not going to work. So he tells him, because he's on his board, he tells him, hey, I want to get him removed. He basically wants to do a hostile takeover or whatever. He wants to get him pulled off of the wherever he's at, the CEO, I guess. And Randall, who is the guy dying from cancer, his motive is he thinks maybe with this new AI future, they think the what is it, the AI being, like the artificial intelligence sentient being, is like the future. And he eventually sees a future where his conscious can be uploaded into an AI, um I guess into the metaverse or whatever that you would call that. And he would basically live forever. His conscience will live on forever with AI. That's his goal. So when he's told by the younger guy that he wants to get this guy removed, he's just like, nah. Like he pretends, he does the old evil billionaire, two-faced, sick, basically American thing. He looks him right in the face and he acts like he's his friend, and he says, okay. And he goes back to his other buddy and he tells him, basically, he comes back and he goes, we need to kill him. He tells him this, that we got to kill this guy. He's going against us. He doesn't believe in acceleration and the future. He's hindering and they basically go back and forth, and they debate whether or not they should kill him, and the rights and wrongs and the moral um, compass, and what's if it's good for them and not good for them. Basically contemplate killing him because they all have ulterior motives. The rich guy wants his company to succeed, and he doesn't want it to collapse because of all the drama that it's causing. So he wants this AI model from his buddy, so he can stay cemented as the most powerful, richest man in the world. The other guy wants to live forever because he's sick and he has cancer and he's gonna die soon. The other guy wants to just make $1 billion. He needs money. The one who's not worth $1 billion has some kind of meditation app, and he keeps pitching it, and he wants to sell that and hopefully get $1 billion. A bee nut, he calls it. He's allergic to bee nuts. Can't get $1 billion. That's funny. I'm allergic to I'm allergic to a tea nut. I can't. I've never touched 10,000. No, I don't know. I may have, but yeah, these guys, it's crazy because this is our actual, like, art imitates life, or life imitates art. This is actually going on right now. Elon Musk is worth so many billions of dollars, and that's another topic. It's so hilarious because he from what I've heard is he's not even the founder of Tesla. He's always claiming, and they always claim to be. He's not the founder of Tesla. I believe he actually was claiming that, and he was sued by the original founder, one of the founders, and he had to settle out of court to claim that title. To be called the founder, he had to settle with the original guy out of court because he was saying it before he paid his dues. So now he gets to call himself the founder, but every company he's never founded. I believe he's invested in it, and he's just been a voice and a face for it. I mean, albeit or not, I don't know if that's the face you would want. I don't know. My face ain't all that, but we're all human. But anyways, yeah, he's rich. I believe he was had millions. I don't know, hundreds of thousands. Either anything over 100 grand, man, you're set up from your family. He had a father, I guess, that owned emerald mines, so he's not no self-made. He's not this genius. If anybody has ever seen him talk, I mean, he doesn't seem like a genius to me. Uh, and also, that's a whole nother story. Like politicians, entertainers, it's all a look. It's all. People play dumb, people play smart, people have a character that they play. Like that one senator, Kennedy, that Southern, the way he talks is just so annoying. And I know it's a front they put on to appeal to their base, to appeal to their demographic, to just play the fool too, to play dumb, to be able to look dumb when they want to look dumb, and to look like the hero when they want to look like the hero. But so yeah, they decide that they're going to kill this guy because he goes against what they want to do. He doesn't want to share his AI model, so they decide to kill him. They chase him all through the house. They try to the first guy, the one that's worth 500 million, tries to push him over a rail because there's like a tall staircase, and he cheeses the other guys cheese up halfway into it. So they got scared, so he pushes them barely, and the guy almost falls over, and he's like, what the f, dude, I almost fell over. And he's like, that was a joke, that was a joke. And they missed that opportunity. Then they decide to smother him in his sleep. As you would imagine, these guys are not very street smart or smart at all. Maybe book smart, or if you could call it that. But they're deciding what's the easiest way to kill him, and they're like, they're saying through the neck. If you got to take out the blood, you got to drain his blood, and you got to get his brains out through his neck. And they're saying all these wild stuff. They end up deciding to smother him with a pillow. The guy worth 500 million, Superman. They they always have him do the dirty work first because he's the least richest person. You know how that goes. You know how his working class are treated. But they he jumps on him and tries to smother him, and they drop a bowling ball on his stomach, and they're holding his legs. He eventually breaks out, runs around through the house. They lock it down because it's a billionaire's house, of course, and he has bunkers in there, and he has lockdown capabilities. And so he locks them in there. They end up finding him in the sauna, and they threaten to burn him alive. They're pushing gasoline under the door. He starts pushing it back, and they basically he begs for his life. He gives them a like a offer. He writes down a business offer, and they read it and think about it. They're like, we're gonna go talk about this. We'll be back. And basically they bring in lawyers overnight, and make sure that everything's cool. They call their connections in the White House, in the government. They're talking about coups throughout the movie too. They're talking about act like doing coup de grace, whatever you want to call them, from different countries, in different countries, and they're talking about getting their contacts within the United States government to help them facilitate that, which is pretty interesting because I believe that's true too. Um, so yeah, they basically get the lawyers to sign off on all his stuff, and they let him out the next day, and they hope that he's just gonna leave without saying anything to them. And he comes in and has an awkward breakfast or interaction with them, and they just basically act like it's nothing, as cutthroat as it gets for the richest people in the world, I guess. I would imagine that's how they are. I mean, I wouldn't say it's too far from it. I honestly couldn't imagine it being too far from it, especially with that Trump guy. Man, I remember when he first started running for president, I was actually incarcerated, and I was just like, "What? Trump, the guy from The Apprentice? No way! Like, come on, you're fired. He's gonna be the president. Like, come on, this is a joke." And fast forward, it's been about 10 years since then. I was incarcerated from December 11th, 2012 to March 11th, 2017. So I did 2013, 14, 15, and 16. I was incarcerated during those years. Um, I was arrested for armed robbery. Um, I was young and I was on drugs. I was lost in that at that point in my life, and you know, I was handed down a sentence from a judge, from representing the state of Arizona, and she gave me a sentence that she deemed necessary, and I've paid my debt to society. Completed probation years ago, got off released early, and yeah, I forgot how I got on that tangent, but so the movie ends with him staying alive. He ended up signing his company over, and then as they're leaving, the two richest guys, the one who wanted the richest guy who wanted his model, and the guy who got forced under duress to sign a contract or sign away his company, they basically um, made amends. They started shooting it to shooting the shit, if you will. They were having fun and laughing about it, and they basically both decided to go against Randall, the old guy, and um, he told the guy whose AI model is causing chaos, it's never going to work. I still don't think it's going to work, but we'll see how it goes. We can merge our companies, and I'm going to come for you in the end. And he's like, that's what makes it exciting. So these guys are basically cutthroats. You know, they're into some stuff. No Diddy. They say, I don't know. I've heard conversations, and it makes sense a little. These guys get so much power and so much money that I guess they're just numb to normal stuff. Um, they got to go left field with it. So I don't know. I don't know how true that is, but um, the movie is pretty interesting. You can watch it if you want. I'm not gonna suggest or tell you to go see anything. If anything, I would tell you to go see the movie Once Were Warriors. That's a great movie. I just watched that about a week ago. I grew up watching that movie. It's very, very, very tragic story, very enthralling story. It's very good. It's a movie called Once Were Warriors, and it is a movie that is set in New Zealand, and it's about a Maori family, and they're a husband and wife with their children. They have like I think like 4 or 5 children, and they're an alcoholic mom and dad, and it's full of domestic violence. There's trigger warning. There's a lot of domestic violence, and there's some pretty tragic stuff in the movie, but it's very, very good. I watched it as a child, which probably wasn't a good idea from my parents' point of perspective. But no, I didn't want. I don't think I was too young, but I watched it when I was really young. My mom showed it to us, and I've loved the movie ever since then. And it's one of those movies where you watch at different periods in your life, and it just hits you differently. And the most recent time I watched it, man, it hit me hard. So yeah, I would suggest to go see the movie Once Were Warriors. You can get it on order it online or something. I wouldn't say go to that other billionaire's spot. He charges you $4 for a movie, and you gotta watch it only for 24 hours or some garbage like that. Like, who wants to do that, man? So anyways, yeah, this was the review for Mountainhead. and my tangent on a lot of stuff. Um, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys continue to tune in and check me out. You're never gonna hear any requests from me to subscribe or to maybe share is cool, but yeah, you don't have to subscribe. You can comment if you want. You can share it if you want, but no need to subscribe or do anything you don't want to do. I'm an avid YouTube user, so my subscribes don't come lightly. And I watch a lot of content on YouTube. It's actually the only social media platform I have, unfortunately. But yeah, I haven't had Instagram, Facebook, or Snapchat or TikTok in probably like 5 years. I think I downloaded TikTok maybe once or twice during like right after COVID because my little brother and sister kept telling me to get it. But yes, same thing. I just found dissatisfaction with them. I felt like it was taking up too much of my time, getting getting locked into too much stuff that I shouldn't be looking at, and just wasting my time in general. I didn't feel good, honestly. And my body's very sensitive. I'm actually very sensitive, so I kind of noticed those things early on. When I got out of prison, I was just like already not getting back into it. I felt it was kind of weird to me. So I don't know what it was, but it's kind of off and on from 17, 18, and 19. I didn't really have it. And then 20, I was just like, I'm deleting everything, which I did besides YouTube. And I actually really recently deleted my Gmail, my Google. Ooh, yeah, I don't want to be messing with them. Saying, man, all of these big conglomerates, everything in America, every facet in America has been monopolized. I believe we only have a few grocery stores to shop at. We only have a few social media websites to look at or apps to use to utilize. We only have a few options for healthcare. They got us in a chokehold. So yeah, my whole purpose is to discuss that and discuss our options, discuss our options and our rights. I want to inform, I want to educate, I want to involve people, and I want to have an honest, active discourse. So I hope you guys like this quick little review. If you guys want to hear specific topics about anything, just I guess leave a comment, send me a message, whatever. Um, quick thing I probably wanted to end with is some of the content creators that I follow on YouTube. Just off the top of my head, um, Democracy at Work with Richard Wolf, and there's a lady on that channel. I can't think of her name. That's a great channel. The Majority Report with Sam Cedar. That's a great channel. Um, who else do I like? There is a ton of them. I like Kyle Kalinske. I like Breaking Points. I like The Rational National with Mike Figueroa. Or no, that's David Dole. The Humanist Report. Um, I'm at the TIT network. Um, there's so many that I'm not that. Oh, David Packman, he's a really good one as well. So yeah, if you guys feel interested in looking some of those people up, check them out. And I'm gonna continue doing my lives. I'm gonna try to do them maybe every night or maybe every Wednesday and Sunday. We'll see how it goes. But my goal is to stay active and talk about this stuff and have some real conversations. And if you guys want to hear any specific topics, just comment it, let me know, man. We'll talk about it. I love learning stuff and I love talking about stuff. And I'm open ended too. I don't I don't shut down other opinions, but I also remember a Majority Report video with Sam Cedar where he talked to this he was a black author, African American author, and he was talking about how you basically don't want to give light to the other side. A lot of these ignorant people, in my opinion, that just don't care, have no empathy. They have sociopathic, in my opinion, ideologies where, forget those people, forget those kids dying in that country, forget those people and their health care. What about my family being doxxed? We got to protect our faces, that type of stuff. I don't give none of that any light. So, because of that, he made a good point. He basically said not to give those, we know how far they're willing to go and what they're willing to do. So we just got to hold our own and be ready and willing and ready to go. which I most definitely am and have been my whole life. And yeah, basically, I'm not going to give no light to no nonsense. We're going to talk about real stuff right here, real people, real human beings, like Bill Hicks, RIP, like George Carlin, RIP. Um, yeah, like 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 myself. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Check it out whenever you want, man. Check me out. You guys have a great night. God bless.